Well, and you're talking about the speaking fee. Everybody goes, I want to be a paid speaker. Well,
I make
there's
so much more money not getting paid to speak.
like, oh my goodness, you get paid like, oh, I got paid $250 to be at this event. Yeah, well, were you able to offer anything? No. I go, well, your offer, your lower item is already 997. If
Right.
you were able to pay to be on that stage, let's say you paid $1,000 to be on the stage and you sold 5 of your 997s to the audience, you're walking away with
You're already rich.
$4,000, I mean, let's do the math here. You can pay yourself. Don't look for other people to pay
Yeah.
you.
Hi, I'm Erin Marcus, former corporate executive turned entrepreneur and founder and CEO of Conquer Your Business. Welcome to the Ready Yet podcast. We're excited to bring you more than 100 episodes of interviews and insights designed to help entrepreneurs get the financial and emotional freedom they need in order to build a business and a life they're proud of. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Ready Yet podcast. I am so excited. This is a long time coming. My new friends, sisters from another mister, right? Excited today for Toni Caruso to be with us because I met Toni when I was speaking at an event in Dallas. We happened to sit next to each other, and we just I know I like you type of vibes, right? I don't know anything about you. I don't know why, but this seems like something that has to be explored a little bit more. And we've chatted for months and stayed in contact for months and celebrated everything that each other has going on. And I'm going to see if I can get this correct because the fancy new title, the very exciting new venture, Executive Director of eWomen's Speaker Network, and all of the amazing things that I know eWomen has wanted to do for some time, but now has the person who can make it happen. So why don't you give everyone a little bit more formal introduction to who you are and what it is that you do?
Well, Erin, thank you so much for having me. I just love you. Yes, we did click, and then we started talking on a Zoom, and I think that we went way over our time. And then it just, when you meet that person that you just connect with and it
Yes,
just flows, it's kind of like a little love affair. So
it
I
is.
love you. So anyway, my name's Toni Caruso, and I have spent like 30, 40 years as an event producer and been in the back of the room. And I've seen hundreds and hundreds of speakers go up onto multiple stages. So I've seen the good and I've seen the not so good. And then 2020 hit, and of course, live events died. And I decided that I would pivot. I I don't even like that word,
I
that I would
know.
just kind of switch and go to build my Academy for Speakers. And it's where I teach the business of speaking. There are things that speakers don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So I just thought, no one's really telling you how to maximize your impact, monetize your message, and build that community of raving fans that we're all dying to have in our business. So I have now taken that Academy for Speakers and eWomen Network, which I've been a part of for 7 years, has brought me under their wing. So now I'm going to be doing it with them on a higher level with a larger platform. So I'm very excited to help more women step onto those bigger stages.
Love it, love it. And what I love about what your business did and does is there's so many people out there teaching or trying to teach how to be a speaker, but
Right,
they completely focus on the stage. And
right.
the truth of the matter is you do need to be good at what you do in order to grow your business, whether it's speaking or bookkeeping, right? I mean, but just like what I say to my clients, doing what your business does for a living and knowing how to grow a business are two completely different things. And I don't know any speakers that decide they really want to be in stage because they just can't wait to negotiate a contract.
Exactly. Or they don't even know that they're supposed to negotiate a contract. They're just so, everyone's like, oh, I've got to get on that stage. I've got to get on that stage. Well, is it the right stage? It should be your first question. There are so many things that you need to know before you even pitch to even be on a podcast like this. Is this my ideal audience? Am I talking to the right people? Simple.
And yeah, and it's one thing when you're brand new and you just need some practice. But
Right.
if you really want to grow your business, speaking or anything else, you have to figure out what works and then throw a ton of intention behind it. You
Right.
can't stay in that random acts of marketing, random acts of speaking mode.
Well, it's like just, you take the spaghetti and throw it against the wall. It's like, I know I'm supposed to be doing it. Well, then, okay, let's sit down, just like with the business. What's your foundation? You know, where do you want to speak? Who do you want in the audience? What do you want to say? How do you want to say it? How do you want to present yourself? And then it's the business around that. Think simple things like, do I get an exhibit table? Who's going to be in front of me? Who's going to be behind me? Are they offering programs that are high-end programs and I'm going to be offering? So it's a pitch fest. So, I'm throwing things out there. We can go on this forever, but there are so many questions that you need to ask before you say yes, you know? And then once you say yes, there's a series of questions you need to ask to make sure you're getting everything that comes to you because you're speaking or paying to speak on that stage.
And I think what happens, and I've been there, I get it. I think what happens is we just get so excited. Someone said, yes, you can
Yeah.
speak on my stage, that we give away our agency.
Right.
The same way the same way you see entrepreneurs do that in their business, where they take on clients, even if their gut tells them it's not a good fit, because we're just so excited somebody said yes to us.
Exactly. And is it the right yes? Um, my biggest question, well, it's a little pet peeve. I don't like the speakers who think they're so big that they show up 15 minutes before their time, they get mic'd up, you see them in the back getting all hopped up, then they jump onto the stage, they do their thing, come back to my table, ask your questions, and then a half hour later they're gone. I believe that and I think most speakers, especially, if you are not Tony Robbins and,
Right. There's a place for
yeah,
that. And
because you can't
truthfully,
stand around, you'll be there all day with people just wanting to take your picture. I get that. But you and
right,
me, we're
that
not
ain't
those
us.
people. So our job is to be there when the event starts and stay there till the event ends. Because Nancy Matthews, who's head of WPN, Women's Prosperity Network, she's brilliant at this. She sits in the audience and she starts talking to people. Then, when she gets up on that stage, she goes, I was talking to Erin.
Yes.
Erin, she's a realtor and amazing. She gave me a interesting insight. And then Tony over there said, it makes you
Absolutely.
part of the event. Oh, she's here. She's one of us. You're already one of us. And then you go to the lunches, you sit in the bar and you have a drink afterwards. That's where you close your deals. You're not
Yes.
going to close them on the stage. You don't know how many people, when you're in the back of the room and the speaker's left and they're coming up and they're asking me questions about your program. I don't know your program. Your team's not there to answer those questions. I can't close that person. You've just lost that sale. Or people that come up with the papers and go, well, what am I supposed, stay there, close the deals. You're missing clients when you leave too early.
Absolutely. Because most speakers that I know aren't the high ticket keynote celebrity version.
Right.
And, that's a great business model, but you don't get to start with that business model, right? You have to kind of work your way up to that business model. And to your point, a lot of people see that business model and they want that.
Right.
But that's a really long, you will run out of money trying to create that business
Right.
model if that's where you start.
Well, and I believe that your business takes you to that model. So as
Yes.
you build your business, the opportunities come. And I always say, as an event person, I love events. I love having my own events. Um, have your own event. And in this world of Zoom, just open up your computer and say, hey guys, I'm doing a happy hour. I'm going to
Yes.
interview people. Come on, between 4 and 6 o'clock tonight. Start building your community that way. As soon as you get your following, get onto a stage and then have an event, because the best way to build your community is to find someone who's doing something that's not competitive, but it's collaborative, and
Adjacent.
they're
Yeah.
having an event, and their ideal audience is your ideal audience. Then you switch stages. You go, hey,
Yeah,
Erin, speak on my stage and I'll speak on your stage.
exactly. And it's so and it's so much more fun.
Right.
It's it's a good confidence builder. You know, the one thing we always say about it's so lonely. Entrepreneurship can
Yeah.
feel so lonely. So it's a way to not feel so lonely. It's reciprocal, which is how humans behave in general. And I love what you're saying about you can start out by creating your own stage. It's never, oddly enough, it's never been easier and or harder to
Right.
create your own stage. The access is completely there, but you got to break through the noise. And it's kind of, I know in the book business, the publishers don't want you until you have your own following. Well, the
Right.
speaking business is kind of the same way. You don't get the $25,000 speaking fee until you come with your own status, right? Your own
Right.
celebrity status.
Well, and you're talking about the speaking fee. Everybody goes, I want to be a paid speaker. Well,
I make
there's
so much more money not getting paid to speak.
like, oh my goodness, you get paid like, oh, I got paid $250 to be at this event. Yeah, well, were you able to offer anything? No. I go, well, your offer, your lower item is already $997. If
Right.
you were able to pay to be on that stage, let's say you paid $1,000 to be on the stage and you sold 5 of your 997s to the audience, you're walking away with
You're already rich.
$4,000. I mean, let's do the math here. You can pay yourself. Don't look for other people to pay
Yeah.
you.
Loving what you're learning here and interested in more? Check out our free Facebook group and join us at Conquer Your Business Community to find even more tips and tools designed to help you get out of reaction mode and into conquering your own business. Absolutely. And to that note, one of my pet peeves, because you mentioned one, so I'll share one. People who get offended, again, assuming they're normal human beings like you and I, and not the celebrity status version of speaker, people who get offended from a sponsorship model and tell you, why should I pay to be on your stage?
Right.
And the only people who've ever said that to me are people who've never had to try to fill a room.
And to that point, I love that you brought this up. To that point, as an event planner, I get so mad at speakers. You want to be a speaker, you're on my stage, and I'm having you on there for free because I just recently did this and I had 5 amazing speakers on my stage. Why are you not promoting that you're speaking on my stage? Why am I not seeing it in your newsletters? Why are you not sharing the pictures and the swipe copy that I send you?
Can we make it easier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, if you put 5 people in my room, I'm going to
I
have
will
you
have
back.
you back. Yes.
What is the easiest way to get asked back? Help fill the room. Why is it my job to give you clients? It's my job to have the platform and to put out the cost of it. But, help me out a little bit here.
There's all these things. And I think some is just people don't know. Truthfully,
Yeah.
some is people don't know what to do. That's why I love that you have not just a how do you give a good presentation business, but a how do you do this business. Some people just don't know. Some people are still stuck with visibility issues about their own, let alone somebody else's. You promote yourself. There's a million reasons for it to not happen, none, many of which aren't of ill intent, but the end result is the same.
Right.
The end result is the same. How can you, one of the best pieces of advice, and I just got like what I consider the hugest compliment because I did what I was taught to do. One of the best pieces of advice, I've gotten this back in my corporate, I've gotten this in sales training. It's the same pieces of that piece of advice when I was becoming a professional speaker myself.
Mm-hmm.
Be easy to work with.
Oh my gosh.
Be easy to work with. So I was just I'll share this because I was so freaking proud of myself, right? So I spoke last week at an international conference, and it's the International Conference of Patient Advocates. So these are like ex-nurses who are now helping patients navigate the medical field. Like these are really great
Yeah.
humans, right? These are good people. So it's a very welcoming environment because they're salt of the earth people. And I was speaking after lunch and I went in there half an hour early and I moved the things on the stage that I wanted moved. And I met with the AV people and I asked them what they needed and they asked me what I needed. And they're like, you're the most professional speaker that we've worked with at this conference. I was so excited. So
And
proud of
understand.
myself.
Well, no, and I love that because it's so important because as a team and you're putting together this event, it's that head that's talking all the time. Well, what do I get this and where do I get this? Ask the questions ahead of time. What kind of mics are available?
Right.
What time do you want me there? What's the background going to be so that my outfit
That
doesn't
I don't
conflict with the.
blend into it like I
Yeah.
am with my.
Are you going to be videotaping it? Do I have the opportunity to have that? Is there a break after me? Ask all the questions. And by all means, hit the deadlines. If we ask for your picture, your bio, your description, whatever, don't say to me, and I
Well,
have heard this a million times, well, I'm getting new pictures taken, and they'll be next week, and then I'll get no, because the sooner you get your picture to me, the sooner I get you up on my website, and the sooner you get to be promoted.
the other thing I hear, and again, it's often not coming from a place of ill intent. I've spoken on many, 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 many stages that didn't quote unquote live up to the promise. They said there'd be 100 people there. There were 50. They said there'd be 20 people at the mastermind. There were 3. They said there'd be 500 people in the room.
Right.
There were 100 people in the room. And I understand in your gut reaction might be to be disappointed.
Right.
But the more you can make the most of the opportunity you have, instead of attacking and being mad or disappointed or sad, but just, okay, what can I do with this? I've had audiences that didn't pan out.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. And that same person, when I said, well, this didn't pan out, I was really looking forward. Is there something we can do? Ended up putting me on another stage because you can come at it from a collaborative opportunity as opposed to a blame or a disappointment.
Well, and I get mad at event producers who don't tell you the truth. I
Yeah,
mean, it's like we hope to have
we
100
hope to
people in
have.
the room, and we work our best. Like I'm doing an event in 2 weeks and it's a big person that's going to be on my stage and it's a 60-person room. And I am right now at 48. So I am kicking ass to get the 60 in there. But let me tell you, if I have 50 or whatever, she's still going to be happy. She's still going to give her A game. And even if there were 20, she still would. I said, because you have to come from that. I heard a speaker once, and he was a big name speaker. I don't want to say who it was, but he said at one of his first talks, he was in a theater sized venue and there were 10 people in the front row, and that's it. And he said, I could have walked away. I could have been mad. I could have gone up there and went, I'll just throw this at them. He goes, I gave them everything. And there was one guy in the front row that came up to me afterwards and said, you know what? You need to meet my
Right.
mentor, Brian Tracy. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
And it opened this whole world for him. You only need one.
You only need one. And that to me was another piece of advice I got early in my speaking career that I have held on to, and it's never failed me.
Right.
No matter what your thoughts are about the event and what you expected versus what you got, show up as your most unbelievable best version of yourself, and it will always turn into an opportunity. Plus, then
Absolutely.
you can be really excited about your numbers. I had that happen where I was told there was going to be a series of 3 masterminds and 20 people at each. And there was literally 3, and maybe 5 people. And I got like 8 clients out of
Right.
it
Well,
because it was
because you're
so
in a smaller
intimate.
group.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
And
then I had this.
take those 10 people and go, hey, let's have a conversation and
Right.
screw the presentation and go, come on, and then start masterminding. What is your
Oh,
issue? Let's talk about they'll walk away so filled up that they're
yes.
like they're talking about you for days.
For days. And then my big takeaway was I had a 50% closing rate.
Yes.
Right. Technically, I gave a
Yes.
speech and had a 50% closing rate, which
They
is
don't
like,
have to know there were 10 people in the room and 5 closed, but still 50% is pretty darn good.
oh my
You
God,
know?
it's so good. So here's the thing. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me because it's not a conversation I get to have. And I'm sure there's people out there are like, these people are annoyed. But if you just, never mind the annoyance and listen to what we've been talking about and take those tactical, this conversation was actually really filled with a ton of tactical advice on the business side of speaking. It could make a difference. And I just go back to my own career, and these little tips have made all the difference in the world for me.
Right.
And sometimes it's not just your outfit and your stage presence, but all this other stuff is really what can make a difference in your career. So if people, not if, when people realize they need more information on this, what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
Right now, just send me an email. I would love to connect at ToniCaruso at eWomenNetwork.com.
Perfect.
And if you want to know more about our speakers network, just go to the eWomenNetwork.com and go under speakers and you'll find out more. I do trainings. I'm going to be the cheerleader for the speakers network. So we're going to be doing a lot of great stuff there.
Awesome. And check out our show notes. We'll have all sorts of links, make it really easy for people. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I think our biggest concern was this was going to be a 7-hour podcast because that would totally be possible.
Well, because there's just so much more, I mean, there's just so much more we'd like to share. So
Yeah,
thank you
so
so
we'll
much,
have to-
Erin, for having me.
Awesome. And we'll have to just do it again.
That's it. That's it.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Ready Yet podcast. I truly enjoy bringing these stories of success and inspiration to you. Please join us in our mission to empower entrepreneurs to be in charge of their businesses and in charge of their lives by sharing this with anyone you know who would benefit from our tactical and motivating advice, leaving us a review, and letting us know if there are any particular topics you would really appreciate hearing about. See you next time.